Bree Skiffington, you are the Chief Product Officer at Ad Leverage, and Amanda Triolo, you are the CEO of Grasshopper Heating and Cooling. I am so excited to have both of you on Toolbox for the Trades today. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
So we're going to kick off this show the way we do every single one, which is ask you, how did you get into the trades? And while you're answering that question, you can tell us a little bit about your background and, how you got into the positions you're in now. And Amanda, why don't you start first?
Sure. So I was managing an accounting office and then started to flip houses. And I had an interest for, just numbers in general and seeing red numbers and profitable numbers and understanding margins and what that looked like. I don't know why, but I had a challenge of wanting to start flip houses. So I started flipping houses and I'm like, well, this is fun. I enjoy the challenge. And like I said, having numbers be the center of everything I was focused on. I was presented with an opportunity to be able to step into a commercial install only company, HVAC. And so I took a look at it. I was like, this is a challenge I think I'm going to tackle. So I stepped into the HVAC industry, and there's a reason why I pivot out of commercial for the most part for now. But that's how I jumped in.
That's awesome. And just a quick follow-up, when did you start Grasshopper?
So Grasshopper, we rebranded Grasshopper in February of 2021.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. I'm excited to have you. Bree, why don't you go?
Yeah, I stumbled into the trades via the advertising agency. We had a client referral who happened to be an electrician. That electrician, Mario Cabrano, ServiceTitan customer, he introduced us to ServiceTitan long time ago. Back in the day, he was like, yeah, I can't give you access. We'd have to know your IP address. It's the next big thing in software, right? So yeah, he actually introduced us. We did a great job. He put us up against a ton of other agencies, challenged me ridiculously throughout my career, but I'm eternally grateful for his introduction and continuous referrals. And from there, we just gravitated towards the trades, and the trades kind of gravitated towards us, and we found our little niche in performance marketing. So that's how I got into it.
That's awesome. I love Mario, by the way. I've done a bunch of different webinars with him. Can I tell you both that there's one webinar I did with him where he smoked a cigar the entire time. And I'm like, I'm not upset about this. This is quite the move.
That does not surprise me at all. He is El Padrino. He's the gangster.
Totally.
Incredible.
And he also went to Stanford too. You guys know he was in like a Stanford program for for Latinx business owners in LA. Crazy.
Yep.
Anyway.
Wow.
Moving on from Mario, I want to know a little bit about how the two of you work together. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I actually had our executive vice president attended she observed rather, right, Bree? Is that a way to put it? Observed a marketing meeting at another company when we were just doing kind of an on-site there to learn as much as we could. So she observed Ad Leverage and just the partnership that they bring to a company. And she really loved how they worked with the company on all marketing fronts and how really it was a true partnership, and like they're there to support you and they're there to help meet your goals, help you grow, strategize, that type of thing. So she immediately came back and was like, hey, we need to interview this company, and I'm just going to go find them. And I'm like, oh, I think I'm friends with the owner maybe on Facebook. Like, send a message to this guy. So Kelly ended up reaching out and we set up some meetings, and it was very clear from, meeting number one that they really support your business on all fronts. And like, I know I keep saying the word partnership, but it's a true partnership where they really strategize with you and like meet you where you are with your needs, and then help facilitate the marketing engine that'll assist in getting you the growth that you need to help hit your goals. And, my background is not in marketing. I mean, I love marketing as a whole, but like I'm not an expert in it. And so when we saw like what Ad Leverage presented us with, I'm like, wow, these guys are seriously like the secret weapon of home service marketing. And so for us, it was not just online marketing or, going with a company that's like supports your online efforts and listens to your calls and all that stuff, which that was exactly what I needed when I was getting going. But to really grow and scale, we needed a true marketing partner, and we found Ad Leverage, and they're incredible.
That's awesome. And I have to say, Bree and Amanda, we talk about partnerships on this show all the time. We talk about how you need people to help you, especially if you have lofty goals in the business. And so I love that you shared all that about Bree and her team, because it's so important to have that. And it sounds like it's been a really great partnership so far.
Yeah, no, we've got an aggressive growth goal and like not really understanding all marketing streams because it's not just online, it's all different marketing streams that we need to help get us there. And even just brand visibility, which I don't want to be a marketing guru here, Bree, so maybe you could take that part over. But all marketing fronts to really help grow Grasshopper, and not just in 2023, but over time.
Yeah. Well, Bree, why don't you take this on a little bit? You know, Mario came on and you had this, you were introduced to this, the home service industry. So tell us a little bit. I know, Amanda, you have really aggressive goals, growth goals moving forward. Bree, how does Ad Leverage approach partnering with a company like Grasshopper and mapping out, all right, this is how marketing is going to work for you guys?
Yes, love that. So we take a very high level approach by looking at the historicals first to kind of dictate where the performance has been previously as a starting point for the most efficient way to start off with us, and then iterate on that over time. So continuously, we're adjusting budgets as we go. We're obviously adjusting strategies, bids, testing, optimizations, all that stuff as we go, right? But from a very high level, the first thing that we're doing is creating an annual budget that we adjust weekly, if not monthly, and that we're going forward based on the return on ad spend per channel and adjusting the budget to maximize what the current return on ad spend is by channel. So that's a really important part of our strategy. Obviously, with Marketing Pro and Ads Optimizer, you're able to do that within the Google Ads channel. But being able to do that more broadly from a marketing budget allocation perspective is really where we found that we're able to contribute the most and maximize marketing budgets as a whole, while looking at other data inside ServiceTitan. So another thing we love to jump into that's kind of, it's ancillary to marketing is staffing, right? That's an easy way to look at canceled calls and be able to say, hey, you know, without spending $1 more on marketing, you could monetize an extra $100,000 a month if you just hire this many people, right? So we really try to look at all the data available in ServiceTitan to suggest optimizations and put together our plan for the maximum performance going forward.
Very excellent answer. And Amanda, I don't know if you feel the same way I do, but when people like Bree talk about that, I'm like, I'm so happy you know about this, so I don't have to know about this.
Yeah, no, that's how we feel very often. And I mean, you know, talking about like a true partnership with marketing, there's times where I have these crazy ideas and I'll, you know, send a message in our channel there that we have with Ad Leverage and be like, hey, can we get a marketing pro or like a text blast sent out on this? I mean, on Valentine's Day, I don't know if you remember, Bree. I was like, hey, can we run a last minute Valentine's Day special, send this blast out? And it's like the Valentine's Day special is still like trickling in. And I'm like, okay, that was a great last minute idea. But like having a marketing company that's in the ready position for you, and like they had it together within, I don't know, an hour and a half, and then it just started getting blasted out. Like that is the kind of support that you need.
Yeah, I totally agree. So when you both came to me about being on the podcast, and I wanted to, actually, Bree and I have a friend / colleague in common, Jamie, who made the introduction. You both came to me with like, I want to talk about ChatGPT, and I'm so happy you guys want to talk about ChatGPT because I want to talk about ChatGPT. It is like changing my life, and it sounds like it is really making an impact for you guys too. So tell me a little bit about how you well, for anyone who doesn't know, how would you both describe ChatGPT? Amanda, what would you say to someone who's like, what is that?
Essentially it's like a robot that spits out genius answers and like blows your mind every single time. I think my favorite, I'll let Bree talk about like where to go to get signed up and all that, but like my favorite part was learning that like ChatGPT can spit you an answer. Like, okay, so I can say like, I don't know, act as an HVAC productions. I want you to act as an HVAC productions manager, right? Please inform me of all things about the New York State Clean Heat Energy Program, right? And it spits out this smart summary for you. Then you could take it a step further and say, please summarize this for a 5-year-old to understand, and like really breaks it down. So it's like, it's just mind blowing.
So I didn't even think about using it for that. Bree, what would you say to folks who are like, what is ChatGPT again? Like, what is this thing that everyone keeps talking about?
Yeah, exactly as Amanda said, it's just a smart robot, essentially, that you chat with online, right? It is leveraging like ridiculous amounts of data to be able to compile human answers in real time, but also in a way that it's also learning the context in which you're providing it, which makes it infinitely smarter than what other bots you might think of, like a Siri or Alexa or whatever else, where you can ask one question. It clearly is pulling the snippet answer from Google and just giving you like what that is. It's actually thinking, and you can have a two-way conversation with it, and it'll continuously learn more and more about what you're asking it for. So brilliant tool.
It really, really is. So how did you two start working with it?
That's yours.
Well, first, I was challenged actually by Bree to just start playing around in there. And after I started playing around in there, I actually pushed it to my leadership team and sent out a Loom video on like, hey, this is how you log in. This is how you get started. This is how we're going to start playing around with it, which we can talk about ways that we're using it now. But it was just kind of being encouraged to start playing around with it. And then Bree and I were just kind of having a casual conversation. Like, what was the question you asked me?
What are your biggest time sucks?
Yeah. And so in the home service industry, for me, it's call by call management. And call by call management is something I personally took on operationally within the company in the last 7-8 months here. Because it's like, okay, we grew really quickly, and now it's time. Sometimes you grow really quickly, and then you gotta like, okay, let's go refocus back here because we've got to like tighten some bolts here and make sure we get this 100%. So I dove into call by call and tried to understand like what we were missing on each call, or what was possibly going wrong, or maybe we need to concrete the process a little bit more, and then actually just listen to what clients are telling us. Because my opinion only is that call by call is like 70%. Having the technician tell you over the phone what that client is saying their needs, wants, desires, and concerns are, and us customizing solutions for them, presenting the options for them in the comfort and the safety in their home, right? And so I presented the idea, or Bree asked me, and I said, yeah, my biggest time suck is call by call management. But it's such an imperative role in every single home service company if you truly want to grow, scale, and be successful every single call, every single time. And Bree was like, well, why don't we see if we can have a robot take over call by call? So I'll let Bree run with that.
Yeah. So based on that conversation, we decided, let's figure it out. Let's make call by call automated as much as we can with something like ChatGPT, right? So essentially, we're launching a product called CXC.ai. We actually filed a patent on it this morning, so it no longer has to be a secret. It's going to revolutionize, Amanda's favorite word, revolutionize call by call as we know it. It's essentially a chatbot, and it'll use a combination of technician context, ServiceTitan data, and audience data to suggest and continuously optimize estimates towards the highest probability of closing a sale. Further, it'll offer financing options by highest likelihood of lender approval. Yeah. So it'll all be done via Slack or text message communications with technicians in near real time. If that sounds dope, listeners can join the waitlist at cxc.ai.
That sounds very dope. And just a little bit of background information for the listener. We were supposed to record this episode a week ago. I had internet issues, and I think that was just the universe stepping in so you could announce the patent and the wait list. So that's what we're going to say.
Oh, yep.
Agreed.
One thing I absolutely love about this, and what's so crazy is like the more guests I have on Toolbox to the Trades, the more I'm interviewing, especially this season, folks who are taking ServiceTitan data and like kind of iterating on technology in their own way. I've been at ServiceTitan now for almost 6 years, and the adoption with technology I'm seeing across contractors, it's just skyrocketed as we've gotten bigger. And so it's so cool to hear that we have we have our customers and partners who are iterating their own technology to make the trades smarter, better, faster, all of that stuff. So that is super cool. Congratulations on filing that patent. That is dope. Another thing I really wanted to say is I love, Amanda, you started your answer with, I was challenged by Bree to use ChatGPT. And I think that is such a great quality of a healthy and not even just healthy, an effective partnership, right? Someone who's going to say to you, like, this is a really interesting tool. I'm going to challenge you to use it. Like, what's your biggest time suck? And I think that's so important in a partnership. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I never actually thought about what my biggest time suck was, aside from being continually stressed out, overwhelmed, and stretched to the max capacity every single day. Because like, if a company's doing call by call correctly, I mean, it can be 5-10 minutes per call by call conversation. And like my whole role is just listening to what the technician's telling me that they talked about, informed, and educated inside the home. And like a reason why CXC is going to be, I believe it's going to revolutionize the entire home service space is because like one of the three main concerns we have, right? It's people, it's process, and it's that training and development. And with CXC.ai, like it's going to be audio recording in live time, making AI recommendations, but not only that, but it'll take care of training and development. It's going to take care of ensuring that the process is actually being followed. And that's the biggest thing is like, oh, the technician can call and say there was nothing on that call, or, oh, the client had to hop on a Zoom call, whatever it may be, right? So there's accountability behind it. And then you're able to create, custom options for a heightened customer experience, which is like, any company strives to have the best possible customer experience, right? So this is ensuring that that's one of the ways that we can make that happen. So all these things are going to equal maximize profitability and increase revenue. And just the profiling part of it is something that we're excited about as well. But we'll be using all the data in ServiceTitan to be able to pull that profiling in, as well as previous job notes and invoice summaries. So it'll be fully trained.
Wow.
And
All
enriching
right,
that data in ServiceTitan. Sorry.
Say that again, Brie?
And enriching that data in ServiceTitan.
So I'm just saying, when you guys are ready to go live or open your beta, whatever, you're going to come back, or you're going to do a webinar with me so we can let the ServiceTitan community know that this is going to happen. That is so cool. So coming back to ChatGPT, I would love to know, what tips would you like to give other contractors who want to use AI tools like ChatGPT?
The first and most important step that a lot of people have not taken yet is just signing up. So if they go to chat.openai.com/chat, they can sign up. I did a video on this recently. It was under 90 seconds to get signed up for a free account. I would highly recommend upgrading to the $20 a month for GPT-4. It's infinitely more intelligent than GPT 3.5, which has a hallucination problem. But once you sign yourself up, you want to sign your team up. And if you don't know where to start, Amanda and I are going to be publishing a resource blog that we'll share with you to be able to share with the listeners that is going to have starter prompts for the trades. But some really cool ways that you can actually just jump into it with your team is treating it like Google. If you don't know what to do with it, just start asking it questions. And by way of doing that, you'll have a back and forth conversation where, like I mentioned before, it is way smarter than things like Siri, Alexa, or Google Home or anything else. And it will actually give responses back to you that you can critique it on and say, hey, that wasn't what I'm looking for. Try something else. Look for it this way. Break it down for me like I'm 5. Things that you can't do on Google, right? And that'll continuously generate ideas. On top of that, once you start seeing what is working, sharing those ideas with your team and creating a prompt library so that you can all work off of each other's successes and iterate on that, most importantly. So we'll be publishing things on it, some ideas. Amanda's going to go through some of the things that she's been working on that have worked for her business. And aside from that, just sharing prompts, share successes, and continuously develop.
Amazing.
Precisely.
Amanda, why don't you pick it up from there?
My personal favorite thing that we use ChatGPT for right now is we are at a point where we don't have to take notes during meetings anymore. We audio record all of our meetings, transcribe it so that we have a full transcription, upload that transcription to ChatGPT. We essentially just say, I want you to act as an operations manager. Please provide me with a full meeting analysis on the topics covered and the positives, the negatives, or areas to improve, as well as give me a detailed execution summary list for each individual that was present. Then we just copy and paste that, send it out to the leadership team or whoever we met with, and like HR, we're moving on to a different workers' comp, benefits, 401k, all that stuff. We're moving to a new company. So she's been recording each meeting so that I don't have to waste my time being on a Zoom call with her. She's been uploading the transcriptions and then sending me the summaries of the things that I need to know to make a decision based off of. So we are saving tons of time by not only not being able to be, we're able to be fully present in meetings now. And then we're also able to save the time to not have to go type up emails because ChatGPT is doing it for us.
Okay, you just blew my mind, because I don't know if you guys remember when we first chatted about you guys coming on the podcast. The first thing I say whenever I do this is, "Hey, do you mind if I record our call so this way I can be present during the Zoom meeting?" And
I remember.
what I do is I just go into Zoom and I listen back and I'm like, oh yeah, we talked about that. You just saved me so much time because I'm going to start doing that. I'm just going to send the transcript to ChatGPT and be like, what was the big things we talked about? So
yeah,
wow.
and you can customize the prompt as well, or communicate after it gives you an answer. Like, for example, if it was a little too summarized for you and you want more detail, you can just talk directly back to ChatGPT and ask it to be more specific. Or like, for example, if I wanted like a more in-depth version of Brian's takeaways that he needed to do in the next 7 days, I'd say, ChatGPT-4, please provide me with detailed analysis of Brian's takeaways for the next 7 days, and then it'll spit out the detailed takeaways if you need it. Yeah.
I have another topic I want to talk to you guys about, but I want to stay on ChatGPT for a bit. There's a part of me, like, as we're talking about this, that is so amazed and like excited about the possibilities of this. And then that's also low-key terrified. So I'm curious if you guys have those similar kind of contradictory feelings, like, oh my God, I can't believe like technology is where it is. So I would love to hear your responses to that.
I mean, I'll jump in. I'm more so anxious of like all the things I'm missing right now that we could be utilizing it for. So that's why I pushed it out to my leadership team, because like I want them to get as creative as possible and then come to me with like, I'll give you an example. A week and a half ago, I had pushed it out, and Kara, one of the people here on our team, she's like, I said, hey, could you just send me a spreadsheet on XYZ by the end of the week if possible? And she said, I'm not going to, but ChatGPT will create it for me and I'll send it to you. And I literally turned around. I had to high five her because it was like the best answer ever, because like that's how we have to start thinking, is in like our day-to-day tasks or responsibilities that we need to do, that ChatGPT could actually help slim down time so that we can focus on, more productivity and profitability.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's not so much, because I know a lot of folks that are copywriters that are, that may be getting a little anxious about this tool. And it's like, no, instead of looking at like that, look at it as, what am I not yet using it for that can increase my productivity, can focus my attention? Because I don't know about you, it sounds like it, but when I have to do those really laborious, like boring tasks, like writing meta descriptions for pages or something, like that just bums me out. And it's just such a time and energy suck. And I don't want to be doing that anymore.
Right. And another example is, we have a fleet manager now, and we're working on creating daily and weekly checklists per driver, per vehicle. And so we actually use ChatGPT-4 to create I want you to act as a fleet manager with a fleet that manages, 32 vehicles. Please provide me with a daily fleet management checklist that each driver should be going through. And then once you have that, and it's like, okay, please provide me with what a weekly checklist should look like. And please compare the weekly checklist to the daily checklist and provide the reasons why the weekly checklist would be different from the daily checklist. So just like that, that would take somebody, a week to research a bunch of stuff online and find out best possible scenarios, and then contact the dealerships we got it from and like what keeps it within warranty. Like, nope, we already deferred to all that and we're golden.
Oh my gosh, we're at 23 minutes here, and I'm already feeling like this is the most helpful episode of Toolbox for the Trades I've ever recorded. So thank you both. Bri, I would love to hear your thoughts on what else are you doing with ChatGPT? Maybe some other examples like Amanda gave, or some other examples with your other clients that are really you want to share right now.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a whole list of, like I said, stuff I'll share with you that is more catered to the trades. But personally, ways I'm using it, I hate writing. I hate having to come up with content. I hate writing ads. I hate writing blogs. I hate all of it, right? So I've been using it for that. I've had it write client onboarding emails. I've had it write job descriptions. I've had it write SOPs, potentially some other legal documents that I won't get into. It is amazing. And so long as you cater the prompt to exactly the role you're asking it to play, and then describe the tone and what you expect to get back, it's amazing. So I've heard complaints about, oh, it's not creative, it's not this, it's not that for my needs. And it's like, it can be, you just have to tailor the prompt exactly for that. So ask it to be, tell it to you like you're 5, or ask it to, dumb it down from legal lingo to, your day-to-day English, right? So using it for everything. Absolutely love it.
Great. Any other tips that you would like to share for folks in the trades when it comes to ChatGPT? Because I do want to talk about you both being trailblazers in your industry.
I think the only other thing too is like the tedious day-to-day parts of like standard operating procedures, maintenance checklists. Now, I'm not saying ChatGPT-4 is going to get you a full maintenance checklist, or I'm sorry, a full standard operating procedure flawlessly on a position that you need, but it can definitely give you the industry standard for the position that you're looking at, and then you just have to customize it to who you are. But at least you'll have the proper template on exactly what that looks like from just a outline position for a standard operating procedure. And then with the maintenance checklist, like I've checked this out a few times for hydronic systems, air conditioning, furnaces. And so the great thing about ChatGPT is that it is a conversation back and forth essentially with you and a robot, right? And so, ask it to provide you with a 20-step maintenance checklist. It provides you with a 20-step maintenance checklist. And then it said, change the filter for a hydronic system, right? You don't now 19 out of 20 steps were perfect, but it's like, okay, ChatGPT-4, there are no filters on hydronic systems. Please correct your response and resend it. And it's like, you're right. My apologies. Let me please correct and resend. And then it resends. So it's like, you just have to be aware and read things for sure. And don't take the first answer as gospel, but it's definitely got strengths that people should just start, just getting their their thought process jogging on what that would look like for them.
Yeah. And one thing that in both of your answers that I now remember I wanted to add on is sometimes ChatGPT for me just gives me like the baseline, what I used to call when I had to write like the vomit draft, just like, all right, I just need to put it on paper and then I can tweak it. But ChatGPT gives me something. And then from there, I can tailor it, find little mistakes because I am still an expert in my field, Amanda, just like your leadership team is experts in their departments. So they can go in and they can tweak it and make it applicable, not just that it's right, but also applicable to Grasshopper's values and the way that you all do business.
Yeah, it's all in the prompt, and Bree's taught me that as well. And so there's times where I may ask it a question 5 times and then I don't get a proper response, and then I have to like reformulate my approach to how I'm asking the question to maximize the output.
You are both influential women in the trades, and I wanted to ask you, what is the best and worst thing about being trailblazers in a male-dominated industry?
I would say the best part is getting to be who you would have wanted to look up to as a kid. All right. It's an honor to represent women in leadership and ownership and contribute to those statistics and normalize that. The book Lean In had a pretty profound impact on me, especially the Heidi Howard study. If you haven't checked it out, totally would recommend. I think about it a lot. We are not yet at a point of gender equality or gender equity. And so to have any opportunity to bring attention to that is a privilege. We're the exceptions, not the rules, right? So have to acknowledge how fortunate we are and empower women everywhere to speak up, step up, lean into positions of authority where they can. And over time, I hope that compounds into making the composition of every C-suite, which is less than 25% women, VC-funded founders, which is less than 2% women, or women in the trades, which is still under 10%. And shout out to Lady Titans for the great work that they're doing there, to be more reflective of the societal demographics, which is 49% women. So that's the best part. The worst part is that it's novel, right? It has to be acknowledged and a point of conversation all the time. Like a compliment aren't just spoken of on their own. They're spoken of in the context of your gender. And that can feel undermining sometimes. But coming back to point one, it is a privilege. And although it can feel defeating, to someone else, it may be an inspiring point of contrast. And I think it's important to honor any opportunity to highlight that. So grateful for you asking the question and the various platforms we've been provided to address it.
Amanda?
Yeah, so I think for me, the best part is just being able to be who I am as a person and being able to, lead people effectively, regardless of if I'm like a man in the trades or a woman in the trades, right? Because yes, I am a woman in the trades, meaning I have the ability to inspire and empower many other women in the trades. And Grasshopper, we pride ourselves on bringing in as many women as possible in the trades and equipping and developing them to just be their true self, who they are, be successful, and help give them a career path. Whether, we don't really look at it as the trades, to be honest. We just look at it as, we're Grasshopper. We know who we are, man or woman. It does not matter to us. We believe that no matter who you are, as long as you put the work in and you know, choose growth effectively, you can be whatever you want to be in this life. So we have a commitment, hopefully soon here in the next 5 years, to be 50% women here. I have many women in management positions here where you probably have never heard of a woman being in a management position in the trades. And so I love it. They love it. Like, we're super proud of it. So like, the best part for me is just being able to be who I am and empower and inspire other people. The worst part, I think, is the questions that I get asked sometimes they're very irrelevant to me. Like, how do I get discriminated? You know, how are you discriminated for being a woman in the trades, or do your guys even respect you? And like, for me, those aren't even relevant questions to me, because like, it's just like, it's not like I'm the owner of the company, you have to respect me, right? It's just like, nope, I know who I am. Grasshopper knows who we are. And like, it's just who we are. There's not a matter of you're a woman, your guys don't respect you. It's just like, I can lead and help change lives just as effectively as any man could, you know? So it's that question of the comparison of, do your guys respect you because you're a woman business owner in HVAC, you know?
Yeah, it's the assumption that, of course, you have. Yeah, I totally understand that. And I think you both gave phenomenal answers to that question. So thank you. Also, another trend I'm noticing, so I've been doing the podcast for about 3 years. When I first started Toolbox for the Trades, I made a concerted effort to highlight women in the industry. And sometimes that was harder sometimes it was harder than I wanted it to be. This season 8, I don't have my roster pulled up right now. It's mostly women. And I just like kind of realized that. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Wow.
So
that is awesome.
Yeah. And I'm just like, that's great. And it's always in the back of my mind, but it just so happened that I got referred to women that people were like, oh, you have to talk to this person. You have to talk to this person. So I thank you for answering that question, because I think it's very important. All right. Final question. You both have been so generous with your time. I'm testing out some new icebreakers this season, and I thought a great one to ask both of you would be, if you could pick up a new skill in an instant, what would it be and why? Amanda, why don't you go first?
Mine would be breakdancing, because I've always wanted to learn how to breakdance, and I like watch videos, or like the kids pull up videos on YouTube sometimes. I'm like, damn, I wish I could do that. Or like, a common thing in my house is like dance parties at nighttime. For some reason, we turn the music up loud, and I'm like, I just want to know how to breakdance. And it's like, you know, when you really, really, really want to learn how to do it, but you just like don't know the steps in which to be able to do it. That's where I'm at with breakdancing.
All right. Well, I hope that someday in the future you come up to me and you're like, Jackie, I took my first breakdancing class.
I'll keep you posted.
Bree, what about you?
Oh my God. Yeah, I can't beat that answer. Mine would be, sadly, to be more social. It's so funny, like, especially like with events like this, and you know, like the ServiceTitan events we're doing, just, you know, being able to talk to people and be a little nicer. Andrew makes fun of me all the time, saying that he's the friendly version of us and I'm just the grumpy grandma. So yeah, that would be my my desired skill.
That is not an accurate representation.
It is so accurate. It's too accurate.
Oh my gosh.
Thank God one of us has charisma.
All right. Well, you definitely have charisma, as proven by this interview. Bree and Amanda, thank you so much for giving me some of your time and sharing these incredible insights about ChatGPT. I know that our audience is going to be just like chomping at the bit to sign up and get started. So thank you. I really appreciate it.